What's up, you guys? It's your boy Squints here with another episode of A Man in His Podcast. Today, I have a very special guest, a returning guest. Go and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Anakin Murphy.
So, the big question here is, what the fuck happened with you and Warhorse at the last Anarchy show?
Uh, I mean, people are calling it a fight, but it wasn't really a fight. It was just kind of like this dumb fucking scrap. What happened was Jake came up to me and was like, "Hey, you need to move your shit. Like, move it over there." I'm like, I kind of want to be near Duck. I want to be near Gary's stuff because Duck and I are cool. I was already talking to my brother who was like right behind me, and I'm like, "No, dude, like, there's a spot over there. You can move over there." And he just kept telling me like, "Move my shit." I just kept telling him no. There was a fucking fan who uh was like, "Oh, I have an idea," and I think he was just like trying to like talk because he's like, this fan is like a known favorite of me and Jake's, and then like Jake just brushed him off, so I'm like, I defended the fan, and then he like threw my shit, my like 5x7s on the ground. So then the rest of the video is the rest of the video where I just hit him, like I pie faced him, sorry, and then he fucking dragged me over, broke some of Gary's merch, broke some of my merch, probably broke some of his. He's kind of an idiot. And yeah.
My favorite part of the video is that fan that was like trying to be like, "Oh, I have an idea." As soon as shit got real, he ran the fuck away.
Yeah.
He was like, "I don't want no fucking part of this." He got the fuck out of town. But no, I started recording it because I thought Jake was just coming up to you and just gonna be nice, I guess. And I was trying to get like a wholesome little moment. And then I was like, "Uh-oh." I
Yeah.
was like, "This is not wholesome."
I'm really glad for my brother and Dingo because like I immediately like went outside and I was just like about to leave, and Dingo and Kenny were like, "Hey, let's just simmer down and just walk back in, whatever, and everything's fine." And then everything was fine. Like, we didn't talk. There, like, it became fine. I know, like, the rest of the show happened, and the rest of the show was great. And I'm glad that didn't take away from the rest of the show because I would have felt fucking terrible.
Yeah. You mentioned Dingo. How is Dingo? How is it having Dingo in the Anarchy locker room?
He is such an asset. He is so like good and smart in wrestling, and then like he's such a good like person to have around, like as like a friend, as like someone you want to just talk to about like anything that isn't have to do with wrestling. Like Dingo is the man, and I've learned a lot from him.
Yeah, no, he's every conversation I've had with him, like even with just me not even being like a wrestler, he just is willing to give advice to anyone about anything. And I just
Yeah,
appreciate that.
he's very
And then
smart.
another thing about him is like when at the end of Gary and Lenny, like he took his shirt off his own back to help Lenny. Like not many people would do that. And I thought that was very like just it showed a lot about his character.
Right.
But we have a shit ton of questions that have just came in. Uh I don't even know where to start. Let's start with Klein. Klein asked a plethora of questions. Let's just knock his out the way. His first question is, what is your go-to order at Burger Board?
He asked the same question on the last podcast you and I did. Also, that podcast was like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so much changed since then. But like with me and probably you and like wrestling in general, uh, I don't go to Burger Board. I don't know why Klein has this like infatuation with Burger Board. Burger Board sucks. Like my brother works there. It sucks. Like
What is Burger Board? Where is Burger
it's
Board?
so Burger Board. I used to live in Jacksonville, Illinois, just like my hometown, and then there's like a restaurant named Burger Board that's just like Steak and Shake Junior, and it's just yeah.
Yeah, I remember him asking that when I seen his questions piling in. I was hoping Klein wasn't going to just ask all the same questions. And I think there's a couple on here that are the same. I think he asked this last time. When's the last time you hung out with Crime Fighter? I
I
think
think
he asked that last time.
he probably did. Uh, I never hung out with Crime Fighter. The last time I have seen Crime Fighter was last year, like I think during a PWA show where he like it was like I think in January, and then he got canceled, rightfully so. and I don't believe he's been back.
I've never seen him, but I've heard stories of him, and someone said I looked like him once, and it kind of.
Who said you don't look anything like Crime Fighter?
I'm not going to say who said it, but it was someone who is also canceled.
Oh
Uh,
well,
but I was like, what the fuck? And then I seen a picture of Crime Fighter, and I was like, I don't look like fucking Crime Fighter. Like,
don't look anything like Crime Fighter.
this isn't assume they're the same person. What was the biggest adjustment to you moving to St. Louis? Because I think you've moved to St. Louis since the last episode
Yeah,
you did.
yeah. I moved to St. Louis, like I think we filmed that in the summer because we were talking about Grindhouse a lot, and then Grindhouse ended like shortly after the summer. I moved to St. Louis in November of 22. I think the biggest adjustment was like kind of getting away from like my parents, like now knowing that I'm like, oh, I'm like 2 hours away from y'all, like seeing you guys is going to be a lot harder. Um, Adjusting to that was probably the biggest thing. Like job and like city life or whatever, that's whatever. But I think like moving away from like my dad especially and having to like see him on holidays now has like sucked.
Yeah. What made you move to St. Louis? What was the big reason that made you finally do it?
It was I had a week in St. Louis, and I kind of like tossed around wanting to move to St. Louis. And I had a week here, and I was like, this place is fucking awesome, and it would make wrestling a lot easier, yada yada. So I just went up and moved.
My bad. I was trying to fix the screen.
What's up?
Um, Listeners, if you want to comment anything, go ahead. We are live. We are live. Let's take advantage of that. But let's get back to Klein's questions. What's your favorite straight edge band and favorite straight edge song?
So I don't listen to straight edge music or really like hardcore music as much as I used to anymore. But whenever I was, I think like Minor Threat was probably my favorite band, and then Straight Edge Revenge by I think it's Project X was my favorite song. But I also wasn't super into like the straight edge music. Um, I'm certainly not anymore. I don't listen to. I haven't listened to it in a pretty long time.
While we're on the topic of music, how does it feel hearing the crowd sing along to your song while you're making your entrance?
It's fucking sick. I love it so much. And I like Anarchy and TWE are like the two biggest places that like everybody like sings that song. And like this past Anarchy show, it was the loudest it's ever been.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think the video does it justice on IWTV. Like you could not hear a single thing besides the crowd singing your song during that entrance. It was crazy.
Like I could never change that song even if I wanted to. Like it's like that is my song, and I feel really happy that like I have a song that like people like I get messages all the time where like, oh yeah, I can't hear Helena without thinking about you, or oh yeah, what's your entrance theme because it's fucking awesome. And now people are like loving this song because of me, or like they hear the song and they think of me. Like that's what I've wanted, and that's sick.
Yeah, no, anytime I hear that song, I catch myself doing your little like entrance like on the apron, like I'm like finding a camera. I feel like I love that song. And I didn't know it for real until I started seeing you at Anarchy.
That's sick.
What made you choose that song for your entrance? And were there any other songs that you were debating on using?
So I always used Note to Self from First to Last whenever I first started. I just thought like it really fit and I really liked it. In 01, like I use it because I'm a heel and I don't think I should use Helena as a heel, so I use that. Um, but I didn't. I just kind of saw it on Spotify and I'm like, I'll just listen to My Chemical Romance, see if I like want a song change, and then like if I hear like a song, I usually envision my entrance in my head, and that one was like so natural. And then like once I came out to it a couple times, it just became so natural.
Yeah.
So I just saw it. It's a bit boring. I just saw it on Spotify and thought, oh, maybe this could be a cool entrance theme.
And then while we're on the topic of entrances, I forgot who ask about. Somebody asked, "What is your favorite piece of your gear?"
Like my favorite like shorts.
I'm assuming that's what they mean. Let me see if I can find the exact question. If they went more detail on that question, it was Chan Smith who asked it actually, and it's what's Anakin's favorite gear piece?
I assume he means shorts. I have a lot of shorts that I have cut up and have had painted on. I think my favorite ones to wear are the red ones that I always wear because they're the most comfortable. I think my favorite ones that I like um, that I have, I think, are the Zach Sawyer's ones. It's black, has Zesty Zach on one leg, um, Fear the Beatus on another leg, and then Bark Bark on the backside. And I think that's my favorite because one, I love the way it looks, and two, it's like a tribute to Zach, who is like a trainer of mine and like one of my best friends. So it's um, like it means a lot to me as well. It's meaningful to me. Yeah.
While we're on the topic of Zach, I have a question. I have a bone to pick per se with you and Zach. Why is it that every single time I see either of you, you guys want to pull me aside just to tell me nothing?
So that started with like because me and Zach were hanging out pretty much all day of Canvas of Dreams, and then he was like, "I hear Squints has like stickers," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then Zach's like, "We should pull him aside, away from everybody, real serious, and just ask him for a couple stickers." And I don't know why it was so funny, but it's really funny. And every time I see you, since Zach can't do it anymore, since Zach's not wrestling anymore for the moment, uh, then I just do it to you in honor of him because that's what Zach would want me to do.
Well, no, the funniest one was Zach, like you did it. You were like, "Hey, Zach wants to talk to you," and I was like, "All right, whatever. I know where this bit's going." And then I start talking to Zach, and he's like, I thought you weren't gonna fucking be here, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm here." And he's like, "Jackson wants to talk to you," and I was like, "What?" And I like
Yeah,
start walking over to him, and you grab me. You're like, "Hey, no, 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 too far."
Zach was doing all day. He was just telling a bunch of people that like, "Oh, hey, this guy wants to talk to you," or "This guy wants to talk to you." And every time he was like, "Oh, hey, Matt wants to talk to you," I had to pull people. Be like, "No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Leave him alone."
I've only had a handful of conversations with Matt, and I feel like if I just went up to him in the midst of setup and I was like, "Hey, I heard you wanted to talk to me," he'd probably look at me and be like, "No, no, I don't
He
know where this is coming from."
he would probably do that, and then he would laugh about it because Matt is also like um one of my favorite people. Like not just because he like books me pretty well. He's like a very, very, very smart wrestling mind, and he's just fucking hilarious too.
No, he's so funny, and like if the listeners haven't listened to his podcast he's been doing with Sean and Dorian Brown, you need to. Like the way like they're I hate wrestling podcasts, but hearing him talk about wrestling is just different because he's not. Oh God, sorry. Everett Connors just commented. Big fan of Anakin in my dancing videos. Talking about my dancing videos that I don't have. There's a TikToker that looks like me who dances. Thank you, Everett. Uh anyways, no, Jackson has one of the greatest wrestling minds, and he's not like cocky about it at all.
No, not at all.
But another question by Chance Smith, because he also asked a handful, is what happened at Bill's Toasty at 2 a.m.?
This is this is probably like me and Chan's. Like I used to live with Chan. I lived with Chan for like a year and a half to 2 years, and man, like he is one of my best friends on this whole planet. And so there's this restaurant in Taylorville where we used to live called Bill's Toasty, and they're like 24/7. So after I would go pick him up from work because he would always get off around like 1-ish. Um, went to Bill's, and it was 2 a.m. and somebody farted, and it like gassed out the whole restaurant where everybody was like blaming each other.
So that's what happened at Bill's Toasty at 2 a.m.?
Bill's Toasty is at 2 a.m. And that's just kind of like our story because we thought it was hilarious.
And then he also asked, what is Anakin's favorite emoji?
I don't use emojis. I think emojis are stupid. I use like emoticons where it's like colon parentheses, like that shit. That's what I like. If I had to pick, I don't know, the cold emoji, like the face and it's blue and
Oh,
it's oh burr. I like using that ironically to my friends whenever they like post like a wrestling clip or like they just bought like something cool. I just go like that emoji. So I
yeah.
definitely an emoji.
And then his last question is, what's your favorite food place in St. Louis?
It's Grace Meat and Three. It's I can't tell you the exact location, but it's a chicken place. I love it. It's very, very good.
Okay. Why can't you say the exact location? You
I
don't
don't
want to don't want others to know about it?
no, I don't remember.
Oh, I thought it was some sort of secret.
No, I don't know exactly where it's at. I just know it's in St. Louis. If you type in Grace Meat and Three, it'll fucking pop up. So
And then next set of questions are from Zach Ruber, and he asked a good chunk of them. He said, "Does Anakin know there's a difference between real emo and fake emo?"
so Zach Ruber is one of those people who is like very into music, and that's cool. But he's also just like, uh, this genre, this is this genre, this is this genre, and that's fine. I'm not making fun of him, but I'm not. I'm just like, all right, this is the music I like. Okay, I don't care if it's not Midwest emo. It's Midwest emo to me. So to answer his question, no, I don't. I don't know, and I don't care. Like,
He also asked, "Ask about Robin Zach's stupid arguments. Do Rob and Zach get in stupid arguments often?"
yeah, yeah, on a weekly basis. They're just like, it, they just get into arguments about wrestling, and it's like it's in a group chat, and I usually beg them not to get in an argument in this group chat. But it's more funny than anything. Like they're just having like petty arguments about wrestling that isn't serious. But I think it's like silly.
Like just opinionated arguments.
Yeah, yeah. It's like all. It's like I went to Dynasty on Saturday, and it's just like all around me are just like opinionated arguments, like the whole fucking time.
There was at Dynasty, we were right by each other.
Yeah,
There was a fan, like it was me, my brother, and then there was this guy and his friend who it was actually his first time ever watching wrestling, which I thought was crazy that your first time watching wrestling was that show. But like he was arguing with me and my brother the whole time during the Jericho match. He's like, "Well, Jericho's not that bad of a person," and I'm like, "But he's like, I'm trying to like put in his head. I'm like, it's all opinionated, but like there is some stuff that's shady about him." He's like, "Oh no," and I was like, "All right, I'm just gonna watch the match now." But he was just arguing anytime me and my brother would say something, he's like, "Well, actually," I'm like, "Oh my god, dude."
well, I went up and got food during that match, so I didn't even see it.
I think that's the match that you verbally assaulted me when I was just trying to say hi.
You said "fuck you, Anakin."
No, I said hi, Anakin.
You said like, "Hey, Anakin," and then flipped me off.
No, I put out my knucks, and then you flipped me off and said, "Fuck you, Squints."
Gaslighting me right now. I know you flipped me off. You had like that smile on you. Tommy was there. I'll ask Tommy.
I'm almost positive I didn't flip you off.
You
I
just
flipped
flipped me
Tommy
off.
off. Or no, wait, no, I gave Justin Poole Nux. Yeah, I did flip you. That's my fault. That's my
Yeah,
bad. Yeah, yeah, okay.
like me live on the podcast.
Yeah, my bad, my bad, my bad. I seen so many people
Uh,
there. I forgot his name, but there's like an Anarchy regular, and like I didn't think he knew me, and he like came up to me, like grabbed me. He was like, "Oh, they just let anybody in here," and I was like, "I guess, yeah." And I was like, "I did not know you would know me."
there was like I think two or three fans like from Anarchy. There was one from Chicago that like saw me during like whenever I went to go get food that said hi, and that was cool. Like it was like everybody in St. Louis was at this show.
Tommy said when he was in line, people were just coming up to him, like the whole like three or four different people came up to him, and then the guy behind him in line was like, "Damn, everyone just knows you here, don't they?"
Yeah,
But like our little section was like the anarchy section. It seemed like because you were in that section, Justin Poole was in that section, Tommy was in that section, all and like a few of the fans were in that section. It was pretty cool. Should have started an anarchy chant. And then Zach Gruber also asked, "What is your thoughts on American football?" And then he put LP1.
So the only American football song that I have listened to or liked is Never Meant. So I haven't really listened to any other albums or LPs about American football, so I can't really give an opinion, but Never Ment's a really good song.
Okay, I thought he meant like the sport. I was confused what the LP1 meant. And then Klein has one more question, and it is, what are the best and worst parts of working at Sunglass Hut? Which he had also asked on the last podcast, I'm pretty sure.
No, because I wasn't working at Sunglass Hut last time. So the best part is I get my fucking days off. That's the best part. The worst part is I get no other days off. But it's fine. I make money.
Is that the store in the mall, right? It's the store in the mall that just sells sunglasses?
Yeah.
That seems like such an easy job, but at the same time, like, do you have to like upsell people on certain sunglasses?
So, like, it is an easy job, but it's also not. Because if we get stolen from, we're fucked. Because everything is so high dollar. Like, nothing in Sunglass Hut is like under $50. Nothing. So even the on sale shit, like nothing is under 50. So if something gets stolen, it's usually something that is like very luxury. So it's going to be like a $400 like steal. So that part's never cool.
Okay. And then there's a couple things I want to touch on that are happening with your life, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
You have a wrestling show called Tax Return. Is there any details you want to give about that other than the date that you're able to give at this time?
So like it'll be at the 01 Dojo in Edgewood, which is about 2 hours away from St. Louis. So if anybody, no, sorry, it's an hour and a half away from St. Louis. It's even better. It'll be Friday, August 9th. I'm gonna start like announcing stuff in like 2 or 3 weeks. I know I'm gonna open up tickets on May 17th. A lot of people have actually messaged me for tickets, which is cool. I'm not gonna say anything, but I will say that this show is gonna be silly as fuck. It is gonna be so stupid, and it's really only gonna be for me and my friends to laugh. And if we're laughing, then I imagine everyone else is gonna laugh.
Has running a show been something you've wanted to do for a while?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I told myself that if I don't somehow like make being a professional wrestler a full-time job, like if I don't get signed or anything, then I want to open up like a promotion, and I want to do that because I think that aspect of wrestling, of creating stories and like building people up and like gaining them confidence, is appealing to me. Because like with me, for example, I think without Anarchy and without like some other places, Anarchy especially though, I don't think I would have the confidence and like name that I have at all. And I want to like one day do that for other people that come into wrestling, because a lot of people have been gracious with me and a lot of people have taken chances on me, and I appreciate it very much. And eventually I want to do that for others.
Okay. I like that a lot. No, and I seen you when I seen you post a picture, I thought it was just a joke, and then you retweeted it a couple days ago, and you're like, "Hey, more stuff's coming out soon." I was like, "Oh shit, he was for real about this."
I kind of had that fear. I was like, people are going to think I'm playing, but like the show is happening. So I was like, I might as well just like retweet this again and be like, oh, hey, please don't forget about this. But yeah, it's August 9th. Stuff's going to be coming out like on May 17th. Announcements are going to start. Like I'm going to open up tickets May 17th and announce a match that following Monday.
Okay. And then this past Friday, you had a match against Danny DeManto in the pit.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
It was sick. I bled a crazy amount, but it was sick.
I was gonna say you were selling Gareth blood on it, right?
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Didn't you sell your shirt that had blood on it?
No, I want to. No one's bought it yet.
Oh yeah, okay. You want to? No one's bought it yet. How was it having a match with him though? Somebody to his stature.
So like going into it, I was like, wasn't really nervous, but more like determined to be like, oh, I'm gonna like show out. And whenever, because the Blair sisters, they do a lot of death matches in Michigan and Tennessee and like stuff like that. They were trained by Jaden Newman. They were like, hey, what weapons do you want? And I just said every weapon that I like could see in my general vicinity. I'm like that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one, because I know if I like set all these weapons and took all this crazy shit and like prove myself to Danny, then like my goal is accomplished. But now I'm glad that I did that because now I'm a lot more comfortable with death matches. I want to like do more of them within reason. Uh, and there's like some deathmatch people now that are like, oh, I really want to have a death match with you, and that's really cool.
You said within reason. What are some of the things that you won't do in a death
Um,
match?
I have the utmost respect for deathmatch people. Let me go back to your question. There's nothing in a deathmatch that I don't think I won't do. I think I would do. I think I would do light tubes. I think I would do glass. I think I would do all of that. But I would not do this every weekend. I would do this maybe twice a month. People like deathmatch wrestlers do this shit every weekend, and that's insane. And that is so like commendable and respectful. That's just not going to be me because that just seems like so much on my body. But they do that every weekend, and it's just like, god damn, like I don't know how Hoodfoot does it. I don't know how Dr. Redacted does it. I don't know how I don't know how Danny does it. And
Yeah.
um, it's a bit like inspiring too, because it's just like, God, these guys are so fucking tough. Like, you know what I mean? But for me, I'm not going to do it every weekend because I just don't want to put myself through that because I imagine doing it every weekend sucks like very badly. Like I had to wrestle the day after that and I was like, fuck. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So if you were given the opportunity to choose your opponent, who would you choose to wrestle in a death match inside Spalding Hall? Spalding Hall specifically.
I'll do two because one is just a person that I'll pick from the Anarchy roster, and then one's like a deathmatch guy.
Okay.
Deathmatch guy, I really want to wrestle John Wayne Murdoch. That's like probably on the top of like the deathmatch like dream list. If I had to pick someone from the Anarchy roster to have a deathmatch with, Gary's too easy, so I'm not gonna say Gary. Hmm. Yeah, I think I would say Mad Dog.
I had a good feeling those were going to be your top two for Anarchy roster because, well, Gary just has no fear. I feel like a death match between you and Gary would just get bad quick. And then Mad Dog is fucking Mad Dog. He's a lunatic. And that would just get crazy quick too. Uh, which leads me to my next question. You beat Mad Dog in a four-way match to get your first win in Anarchy. How did that feel like hearing that crowd stand up and go nuts when you finally got that 3 count?
It was, yeah, like it was one of the more gratifying moments of my like life. Like once the 3 count was hit and I held up like the trophy, like I don't think there was any people like sitting down. Like everybody was on their feet, and that was sick.
Yeah.
Uh, I remember looking like I remember like I had the trophy in my hand and I was like near like where hard cam is, and I was like posing, and I looked over to the stairwell and I saw Dingo and Matt just smiling at me, and that also felt fucking awesome. That I like in that moment made them proud too. It was
Yeah.
just like all of this was very very meaningful, and then the fact that I like did it with Mad Dog, who was a close friend of mine, like that also was really cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say that at that point it's like a personal gratifying
Yeah,
moment also doing something like that with him. And then my next question is it's a little straying away from what we've been talking about, but if you could choose one Jersey Shore cast member and they all let's say they all have proper in-ring training. If you could choose one Jersey Shore cast member to be your tag team partner, who would it be?
I don't even know who's on the Jersey Shore cast.
You don't
There,
know? Do you know
I'll just
any of them?
I'll just say Snooki because she's like the only one that I know, and she has had a match.
Okay, that's respectful. And then the last question that I ask every guest is, this is a very serious one.
Okay.
If you can give any piece of advice to anyone, it doesn't have to be related to wrestling, just life in general, what would it be?
Do what makes you happy is like very generic, but if I could like break it down, is like do what makes you happy, as in like if you really want to do something and there's a ton of people that are telling you like, hey, you're not going to do that, or hey, you shouldn't do that, but you're just like, I really want to do this, you should probably go fucking do it because it makes you happy. No one wants to work a job that they're miserable at, so don't work that job. No one want if you really like want to do something, you have all this time in your life to do it, because unbeknownst to a lot of people, there's a lot of fucking time in life. Like a lot of people are like, I have no time left. I'm 32 and I'm still working like here at Macy's or whatever the fuck. And like, if you really want to do something, you got to go and do it, and you got to stick to your guns and your morals while you do.
Absolutely. And then if you just want to go ahead and plug in the upcoming shows, merch, social medias, all of that.
I'll be at TWE this Saturday in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I have all of my social medias and merch in my link tree. Go buy tickets for St. Louis Anarchy on May 31st for Anarchy Forever. I'm wrestling Laney Luck, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And she's not going to hit me with a single fucking suplex at all.
Yeah, she was taking suplex suggestions from the fans, and I was hoping you were keeping tabs on that thread.
3 people pitch a Tazplex. I ain't taking that shit.
And then, is there anything else you're going to say before we wrap this up?
No, thanks, Quince.
Absolutely. Like I said, I told you at the last Anarchy show, I was like, since the last time I've had you on, you have grown so much, and I feel like
it's
only fitting to have you on.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Thanks for listening. Give us a thumbs up, a thumbs down, 1 star, 5 stars, comment, subscribe, all that fun shit. Follow me on Twitter at your boy Squints. Follow me on YouTube at your boy Squints. Follow me on TikTok at your boy Squints. That's going to do it for the stream, guys. Peace.